Dr. Martin Luther King lived in pursuit of life, liberty, and justice. Celebrating his life is an opportunity to reflect on events and experiences that created revolutionary change in our country, in our state, and inevitably our city. We reflect upon the impact of the riots of '67 and other issues that were relevant during the civil rights movement. We visit a conversation between W. Margaret Williams, a 38-year retired school teacher, and Ernest Connerly, a high school student. We also talked to Catherine Morris, a 78-year-old woman that shared her experiences. She discussed education and the fields that were available for women at the time. The fields of social work and medical care were high-demand careers. Catherine Morris reflects on strong businesses in the community along with education, hospitals, and insights on the aftermath of the riots. Overall, the goal of the video is to stimulate thoughts about lessons to be learned from the civil rights movements, remembering the ideas and visions of Dr. Martin Luther King. Finally, inspire the understanding of the importance of supporting, communicating, and respecting one another, allowing for Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream to become our experience.
The time of the 60s, there was always tension, quite a lot of tension between races. Okay, and I vividly remember the riots. Okay. I had just gotten my driver's license, and I lived between 2nd and 3rd on Hazelwood, which is a block away from Lodge Freeway. Right. So I was going to visit a girlfriend up on Hamilton and Elmhurst, I believe. No? One of those streets up there. So I went out Hazelwood to Hamilton. And when I did, I saw this bellowing black smoke coming up. And I wondered, what's going on? And then not going on. And so I went on up. And then while there, we heard that things had erupted over on 12th. Now, mind you, where the Lodge Freeway is, 12th is like 6 to 8 blocks. Okay. Going west. We're the second house from 2nd. So we're in a 2-family flat, and at that time I think we lived upstairs because we moved from up and down. And we saw all these armed people with the guns and the helmets and tankers going down your street. Okay. That was very emotional. Okay. When they broke into everything, now I don't remember which day was it. I think this was a Sunday that it began. Must have been. And people running and taking what they could take, because there was a little corner store right there on 3rd and Hazelwood. Okay. And you saw people just running, just acting crazy. In the interim, one of my friends was killed. Okay. And it was just a horrendous time. I snuck over on 12th. My mother caught devil with me, and so some of my friends and I, we kind of ventured over because that's where they took up 12th. Okay, like there were a lot of black establishments then. So anyway, we ventured over there, and it was a mess. Like all the stores, all the glass was everywhere, and you could just see clothes and food and all, that they didn't want, that was left just thrown everywhere. Yeah. So that was the riots. I remember, yes.
Do you remember how it was settled? Like what settled everything? Like
everything was gone. There wasn't nothing left. Nothing left to burn. No. I don't.
Next question. When did you first vote?
When I became of age, 21. I voted every year, every election.
How did the civil rights movement affect your life?
Well, I was quite radical. And it made me wear an afro for a long time.
It looked like yours too, probably, because she was a redhead.
It was red like that. They called me Willie Red, and I didn't even get a press for my wedding. I
Nope, she sure did. I got pictures.
And it made me speak out. It made me know I needed to get an education. I wouldn't take no for an answer a lot of different times, so yeah.
I just got a quick question. You said that you were outspoken and would not take no for an answer. What type of organizations were you a part of where you could exercise your voice?
My movement was building upon me, so that I would have a strong foundation to build upon, and because you can cut down a whole bunch of folk with education. Okay, and you don't have to depend on anyone but you, because once you've gotten it, nobody can take it away from you. And that's what I build upon now. I did, go to different. I'm imagining, because I was at Eastern at first, but I acted kind of foolish, so I had to come home. I did, and I finished at Wayne. All right, and you go to the different rallies.
Was there an NAACP in your community when you was a kid?
I belonged to the NAACP since a young person.
What are some of the differences you have encountered in schools, public places, around your city?
Differences?
Like differences from when you were younger.
As an educator of 38 years, I've just retired.
38.
I have seen where black people, how can I say it nicely, are not as strong as they once were as far as showing their children they need to be educated. I was from the era where my mom nor my dad had a vast education. My mom did do different things, but my dad, I think, had a 9th grade education, but they promoted going to school. Okay? I don't see that any longer. I don't see where hard-working people sit down at the table with their babies and, say, you better get this down. Like when I was growing up, you respected every elder. Okay? No kid telling you, now, I can tell you some stories. You ain't my mama. And I'll say, I'm glad I'm not.
Who were some of the people fighting against segregation, if it was around?
Oh, I wasn't around then. How old do you think I am?
These are questions.
Excuse me. No, well, we know that, of course, Rosa Parks, of course, Martin Luther King, of course, Abernathy, many, the Little Rock Nine.
What role did churches play in the movement, and how have they changed now? I'm just adding this piece to it myself.
Churches used to be the center of a black person's life. Okay, and they had a hand in, like a nice hug, where the children were within the church with the families, and everyone raised. It takes a village to raise a child.
The organizing aspect of people coming together and having viable businesses.
There were some black hospitals. They weren't really hospitals. They were big houses that were bought because, and the doctors got together and made hospitals out of them because blacks who did not have insurance, they couldn't get in Mount Carmel and all of these other hospitals. So the doctors, there was a hospital called Burton Mercy, Kerwood Hospital, and we either had to go to receiving or we went to Herman Kiefer. So Herman Kiefer used to be a full hospital facility. It used to be a TB hospital for one. Oh. Yes. I didn't know that. During the riots, or around the riot time, tell me about... During the riot, which one? The one in 67? In 67. Oh, yes. It started on rumors. It started on rumors. Okay, so you go... Okay. It started on rumors. It wasn't that we were so down and out. At that time, they still like the youngsters are now. I want this and I want a quick fix, and so they started lying on the rumors, you know, the Big Four, they do this, and the Big Four are hard on blacks, and
oh,
you know, and I lived where I live now. I lived in the same area, but at the other end. I lived in front of World Medical Relief.
Oh, okay.
And they distribute medicine to people who can't afford it and whatever.
So tell us about the rumors.
Oh, they said that the white police at that time they had what they called the Big Four.
Yes.
They were 4 white policemen who rode around in a big Buick. It was a police car, but it was a big Buick.
Right.
And they said, you know, the police were picking on these clubs. They weren't clubs; they were house parties, you know, up over these different places around 12th Street. At that time, 12th Street was booming. It had a lot of bars and a lot of people who came, like B.B. King and you know, different ones. And it was just a riot, you know, from rumors.
Wow.
Nothing really happened. What I mean by that, it wasn't because they wanted to loot. You know what looting is, don't you?
Yes, destroying property and
yes, they
stealing
wanted to loot.
And
so when they told this lie about, you know, something happened up over one of the clubs at on 12th Street, it just started. It was, you know, chaotic.
So tell us about the situation in that time that caused the tensions to be so high that from that one rumor, everything would be...
It wasn't like it is now. There were plenty of jobs. People were working in the plants and whatever, and people were just angry about whatever.
Everything.
It's you about everything. It doesn't. It didn't take much for us to hit the ceiling for whatever it was.
And some of those issues were like police brutality, was not being able to have
phrase. Thank you.
Yeah, not being able to have proper work conditions, not getting proper wages.
We could not live where we live now.
Yes.
You know.
Housing discrimination.
Housing discrimination. Yes.
Wow.
That's what they were. I mean, nothing really worth rioting about. I went to school to be a counselor, a substance abuse counselor.
Really?
But I never had a job as one.
Really?
Right.
So what school did you go to?
I went to Wayne State. I went to Wayne County Community College. And I got my degree. I got a couple of them at Wayne State.
Okay.
One was in substance abuse. At first, they didn't want to give us one in substance abuse. It was manufactured, the one we got.
Really?
We got a regular degree.
Right, right. A bachelor's and
we all, the people who were in this was mostly women in this counseling program about substance abuse.
Yeah.
We fought, not physically, but we fought the people at Wayne State about getting a degree in substance abuse.
Yes.
Because they didn't want to give us one.
Yeah.
So I had the great big bachelor's and this one in substance abuse.
After the riots, the aftermath of it, there was a sense of individualism, meaning my house, whatever is within these 4 walls, is the only thing that I care about. And anything out there needs to stay out there. And don't you come in here because you might get shot. So that was the idea. Okay.
Yes, and you're correct.
Go into that.
Thought of that.
Go into that.
But you are correct. We began to do things for ourselves because when I came to Detroit as a kid, everybody was together. You know,
yes.
You could walk up and down the street on holidays like 4th of July, and people would be barbecuing and whatnot. Come here, baby, get a piece of this barbecue.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was so many things. And they would see kids fighting, and they would run out, you know.
Yeah.
They would run out and stop the kids from fighting, different things. But now, the children do not respect the grown-ups, and the grown-ups don't respect each other. You know, everybody has a gun.
Yeah.
With that attitude, as you were saying, you know.
Yeah. Yes.
This is mine, and I do what I want to do.
Right.
And they don't respect the police anymore.
Right.
You know.
Right. Right. So, how do you think, in a reflection, that has impacted our community Up to now.
Sometimes, sometimes, I mean, I don't know how to put this about, but sometimes it's the way I feel. You know, after we got civil rights, then we went crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know, this is my right, I'm right. So I can kill up whoever I want. And, you know, as long as I'm black, I can do no wrong.
And I can generate money however I want to, whether it is legal or illegal, or it causes pain to my neighborhood or not.
You're correct. As I said, you know, as you say, I can generate money regardless to how I, you know, how it comes. And don't you say anything to me, because the first thing I say, if you're doing this to me because I'm black.
Yes.
And I just hate that, but this is what is going on.
That's what it is.
This is what is going on. But a lot of us, we don't want to admit it.
Yes.
I was a school teacher, and the parents were worse than the kids. My child can do no wrong.
Yes. What would be the question that we've been asking them is, what is the next revolution? What is the next change that you would like to see that will be the most impactful for our community within youth?
I would like to see our young children learn to behave, to be better citizens. They don't have to be yes and no ma'am all the time, but behave themselves to the point to respect each other.
Yeah.
And to respect not only elderly people, but other people, you know.